whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house.
I said certified freak, 7 days a week, wet and gushy, make that pull-out game weak. Yeah, you dealing with some wet and gushy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet and gushy. Give me everything you got for this wet and gushy. Beat it up, baby, catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this cookie right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I do a giggle, I'm kinda wild. Look at my mouth, look at my thighs. It's wet, it's wet, come take a dive. Tie me up like I'm surprised, that's roleplay. I wear disguise, I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage. Make me dream, make it stream. Out in public, make the scene. I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me tell you, I got this ring.
Gobble me, swallow me, drip down inside of me. Quick jump out for you, let it get inside of me. I tell them where to put it, never tell them where I'm about to be. I run down on them before I have a running me. Talk your style, bite your lip. Ask for a call while you ride that. Why you really ain't never got him for a thing. He already made his mind up before he came. Now get your boots, hang your coat for this wet and gushy. He bought a phone just for pictures of this wet and gushy. Pay my tuition just to kiss me on this wet and gushy. Now make it rain if you wanna see some wet and gushy.
Now, don't pretend that that is not your new favourite song. And, hello. Okay, this new streaming system YouTube's got is goes. The stream's current bitrate is 2,421 kbps. That's higher than the recommended bitrate. We recommend 2,500 kbps. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, and I rarely am. Thank you. Long time no see. Is it? Your problem. Okay. Well, I haven't been. That's why I'm fucking. In fact, quite frankly, the fact I'm still alive and in one piece as it is a fucking miracle at the moment. Because for those of you who follow me on Facebook, you'll already know this. But last Sunday, had a bit of an accident on my longboard. Pretty. You're lagging. Okay, that's your problem, mate. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. But yes, had a wee accident on my longboard. Lucky to come away with no broken bones. Just. I've only just got movement in my arm back. So is no one saying anything now? Is that it, is it? Are we done? Because I was going to show you off my new fucking, my new longboarding pants, But if you're just going to sit there and say nothing, then I won't give you the privilege, quite frankly. Hello. You're at work till 10. Okay. I mean, come on. I mean, I can't believe Ben Shapiro cannot have rehearsed or told anybody about that bit, because I can't believe not one person in his staff did not say, Ben, this is not a good idea. Right? Can I recommend you drop this bit, the bit where, even if you want to talk about the song, don't read out the lyrics. Right. And then definitely don't go on Twitter and publicly announce that in your medical opinion, according to your wife, vaginal juices only happen when there's some kind of urinary tract infection or a disease, right? Not the result of stimulation. No. I didn't expect him to say the words, to say any of the graphic words. But I mean, he said some of them. It depends. I mean, it's kind of, he's going to do that, isn't it? I mean, I said it on Twitter. I'll say it here. That he owned himself so badly that future generations from now, his descendants will have to pay reparations to themselves, right? TC the Unbeliever, could you say something or just stop with the... Have you got a point to make, or are you just trying to be... Because I don't piss around now. You're welcome to say something if you've got anything to add. But just type in question mark. That is just... I mean, it's... I'm insulted by the lack of effort, What's happening in the UK? Well, the weather's tolerable now. I would love to see Ben Shapiro release an album of like him just like doing like what what William Shatner used to do, where he just used to basically speak popular songs. Like, I want him to do, I want him to do that. What's that song? My dick is, your dick is. I want him to do that one. I want him to do the chicken song from Spitting Image. He's not an enigma at all. Well, school exams. Well, I wouldn't know, mate. I'm 40 years old. I didn't bother. I didn't give a shit about my exams when I was supposed to be taking them, mate. I'm not going to start now, 24 years after the fact. I should try and work on a Ben Shapiro impression. That I could try. It is an awesome shirt. It was my cousin Goose, who is the reason I'm only the second in black sheep rankings in my family. Got it for me, and I'm kind of annoyed. He said there were shorts to match, but he didn't get me them. But yes, I mean, rock and roll needs to come back. Why? There's loads of it. Rock and roll peaked, with Ace of Spades. Won't go any further from there, Glam metal. The problem with glam metal is Gary Glitter. Really, grunge sucked. No, grunge didn't suck. It was fine. It's what was needed at the time. what I thought was funny, and this is something that will make the younger people amongst us laugh, is when they first came out, when they first came about, Nickelback were referred to as grunge. Like when they would do it with their first album, like How You Remind Me, they were referred to as a grunge band, like Nickelback, you know. So when you don't need someone on Freddie Mercury's level. There's loads of people who, you know, it depends on what you enjoy. I mean, I've seen loads of brilliant singers and performers on stage before who were like, Freddie Mercury is unique, but I mean, there's loads of, I've seen loads of people who I would say were, I mean, I saw Elton John at Royal Albert Hall once. He did like 30 songs, and you knew the words to all of them. And for a fat bloke with a crap wig, sat at a piano, sat down for the most of it, you know, he was pretty awesome, you know. If you want me to do that Erasure album cover, and you want me to do it just as an A4, it's 50 quid, mate. Yeah, but it wasn't even but I mean, no one thought they would. No one like bought it. Even then, no one was I was like, they're not grunge. They're just, they're just a rock band. I mean, they're much more middle of the road. Now. But I mean, but they were never grunge. I mean, grunge is all sort of, angsty and fucking, borderline, the kid who's going to do a mass shooting kind of stuff. That's I don't mind Nickelback. I mean, I know it's cool to hate them, but I mean, it's not so much a Nickelback problem. It's more of a Chad Kroeger problem. It's like people don't like him, and it's understandable. He is a bit of a knob, Music hasn't been dangerous since the early 90s. What the fuck are you talking about, Nabil? What the actual fuck? I'm sorry, have you seen the absolute meltdown people are having over a song about two women talking about their moist vaginas? So you're talking shite, Nabil. Okay. Have you not heard of grime music? Yeah, I think it's a part of it as well. G.G. Allen was not. First of all, it's Allen. You misspelt his name. But secondly, G.G. Allen was not. G.G. Allen did one song that was that was quite pleasant, but it weren't even his. It was a cover. Those are some squares on the internet. What grime? Are squares on the. Cardi B is a square on the internet. You're a square on the internet. You're not even a fucking square. There ain't enough sides to make a fucking solid shape from you. It's not a case of hating WAP. You're entitled to hate it. It's if the lyrics are, if the idea of women talking like that make you uncomfortable, and you feel the need to point out that they're clearly mental, then maybe it's because they're describing something you're not exactly very. You've never experienced before, which is fine. Not mainstream. Wait a minute, you're going on about music being dangerous, but then you're saying you're criticising music for not being mainstream, right? Music ain't dangerous and mainstream. Like, you obviously also don't remember Eminem when he started out. Like, he was fucking the shit he fucking managed to get away with just because he was white and he knew it, That's not square. It's not square. Just what do you mean? It's not squares on the internet. It's literally. It's everywhere. That song's going to be fucking biggest selling song of the fucking year. Yeah. That is blurred lines for incels. That song. No, it wasn't just him. He was just the most prominent one. He just went to much more extreme lengths. I saw a video by some absolute fucking thumbless fucking 6-inch Cro-Magnon fucking throwback, claiming that Ben Shapiro has triggered the libs. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, he was the one who was triggered. He did a whole segment on this song. Just be like, no, music doesn't have to be dangerous. That's true, crud. You know, I think it only has to be what it has to be. You know, same way. You know, music just has to be good. You know, and anytime anytime dangerous music comes along, give it 5 to 10 years. It's it's mainstream. Then happened with all of it. Happened with rock and roll. Happened with punk music. Happened with rap music. Happened with grunge. It happened with fucking it's happened with heavy metal. The thing that freaks everyone out in when it first comes around is the thing that everyone's going to be like, it's going to be on a jukebox and on fucking top. I mean, like last year you had Slipknot when they released Unsainted. They were on the Jimmy Kimmel show and there was a mosh pit. There was a mosh pit while Slipknot played live on the Jimmy Kimmel show. I mean, that it did happen with jazz. Well, Hitler famously banned jazz. And if you're gonna ban any type of jazz, then you should ban that white people jazz. The fucking stuff that sounds like a blues quartet falling down an escalator. K-pop. Yeah, I don't mind it. I've heard some of it. I'm not a massive follower of it, but I'm aware of BTS and Blackpink. I keep up to date with this shit. I am home with the Downies. I pack heat. I'm just a badass brother. From the projects, whatever the fuck they are. Music's been corporates into... Yeah, but what do you mean by corporate? If a band is been signed by a record label and they are they're in the charts and their stuff's on iTunes, they're corporate, mate. Corporate is a meaningless term that people fucking, name me non-corporate. How many non-corporate musicians can you think of? What do you mean? And why does it make you uncomfortable? It's just pop music. What do you mean unnatural? What's unnatural? It's young people singing songs for young people. Yeah, but creative freedom. I'm not interested in in creative freedom of another. That's their problem. If I listen to a song, if I like it, and that's it. And I won't. I don't care whether it's by some bunch of fucking bunch of fucking 18-year-olds who have just been signed by Simon Cowell, who I won't have heard of. I don't give a shit. Yeah, exactly. So I'll tell you a funny story about Five. I was in Brighton a couple of years ago, and at the Brighton at this venue, there was this venue in Brighton there, and Five were in the midst of a reunion tour. And when I was in Brighton, they were stopping over at one of the venues. The trouble was that one of them had dropped out. Abs wasn't doing it, so there was only 4 of them, and one of them was sick the night there to. So the Five reunion, which had only 4 people to start with, ended up with just 3. I'm not watching anything with Milo in it. He's irrelevant and he should not be given any oxygen. And there should be, it just. Yes, but that's because he's Milo Yiannopoulos, crud. With all due respect, what do you expect Milo to say? Of course he's going to say that. This is a guy who claimed he went straight. He turned straight because he was sick of how easy it was to be gay. Wait a minute. Did Five sing for Trump? I don't think so. If there is, they've gone well down in my estimation. What do you mean, a bunch of teenagers? You just love fucking reducing stuff down to stuff that's irrelevant, didn't you? You know, what do you mean? But who cares who they're assembled by? You know, there are people in this world, Nabil, who, you know, not everyone can play instruments and write songs and sing and perform. Some people are just good at singing or just good at performing. Some people are just good at dancing. Some people can write songs but can't necessarily perform them. So what's wrong with putting those fucking people together? Why does it make a song, and why is the you know, how good a song is or isn't, you know, dependent on where it came from? It means nothing, you know. There's also lots of bands that fucking, you know, met and fucking got together and fucking hung out, you know. It doesn't matter where they come from, you know. People forget, you know, people forget that a lot of this applies to music that we've, you know, the Monkees. Do you remember the Monkees? Daydream Believer. They didn't do fucking shit. Jesus Christ, Milli Vanilli played more and more input than the Monkees did to their fucking stuff. The Beatles, when they started, were just doing cover songs, you know. Yes, I don't give a shit. What, you know, I'll listen to anything. Someone made that computer, didn't they? And someone was able to program a computer to write a song. I'll fucking listen to it, and if I like it, yeah. It's got nothing to do with me where it comes from. You know? Elton John didn't write the lyrics to most of his songs. Bernie Taupin did that. Elton just did the music, you know. You know, and you want to talk about, you know, you want to talk about sort of like Larry, you know, over cheesy pop bands. Do you know Wham were not manufactured? They were actually a proper pop band. They were actually a proper band. Like Andrew Ridgeley and Andrew Ridgeley and George Michael used to perform in like working men's clubs, like Phoenix. Can you imagine? But then you get some of these manufactured, like, corporate bands, you know, when they end up sort of producing some really good, you know, really good. So when they sort of split up and go solo, sometimes there's some really good. You know, Robbie Williams. I always thought Robbie Williams was very good. You know, I quite like Harry Styles. He's not bad either. You know. Have you seen the video of the Foo Fighters and Rick Astley performing "Never Gonna Give You Up" live? Because like the Foo Fighters are in tour in the UK, and they brought Rick Astley on as a surprise guest, and they did a fucking Foo Fighters version of "Never Gonna Give You Up." It was brilliant. What's my next video? Don't know yet. I'm working on some bits and pieces. I'm trying to complete some of my more sort of. I'm trying to at the moment complete at least one of two videos that were going to be that are like sort of video essays I did like on films and TV shows, because I haven't done one of them in ages. And I've got one on I've got one on a film and one on a TV show. The one on the film is Nil by Mouth, and the TV show one is Bottom. And I've been writing them for fucking ages. And I really want to fucking, yeah. You don't have to bring 50s rock and roll back. It's happened. Right? It happened 70 years ago. And FYI, it's shite. I'm sorry. You work in a 1950s diner for a year. Listening to that fucking... You talk about music that's repetitive and unnatural, right? And shamelessly, about 50% of it is middle-aged men singing songs about 15-year-olds. Have I seen With Now and I? Of course I've seen With Now and I, you absolute cretin. I've also played the With Now and I drinking game, both versions. Right. There's the With Now and I drinking game, which is just where you sip your drink whenever they drink in the film, and then there's the hardcore version, which is you drink what they drink when they drink in the film, which is quite fraught with danger because within the first 10 minutes, Richard E. Grant drinks meths. You know. There was another version. There was the same drinking game, which was like, we should drink along with Dallas. Yeah, and by the way, and just FYI, these are my new longboarding pants, which have got. And there's one that goes right up the arse crack. I am not gonna fucking I ain't going through that again. What I went through last, No, drink meths, methylated spirits, not meth. You like terps, this stuff. That's the thing that died out. That was much more fun. Like drinking games nowadays, they're just so boring. Yes, but here's the thing about that Johnny B. Good. That intro to Johnny B. Good, and they go down. There's like 6 songs that were released in the 50s that have that exact same fucking intro. They don't even. They weren't even trying. Yeah, but I mean the video essay I've got, or the video and film analysis I've got on is Nil by Mouth. I've been working mostly on that one, and the other one is Bottom. Bottom's quite as they're both going to be pretty sort of like I'm not trying to make them short, It's not about drinking more, it's about the creativity. I used to play some of my favourite drink games. I used to play one called London Underground, where you go to London and we get off at Victoria Station and you get a Circle Line ticket. And the idea is you go around the Circle Line clockwise, you get off at every stop, walk out the station, go to the first fucking pub, you have either a half or a shot. Get back on the tube, next station, get off. And no, you never made it all the way back without someone vomiting everywhere, and that was generally. Or we used to play jacks. That's a bit more of a dare game. You get a deck of cards and you just deal out. You just deal the cards out. First person to get a jack orders a drink. And when we say orders a drink, I don't just mean like a drink. I mean like Guinness, Lucasade, Baileys, and a fucking bag of pork scratchings, and you mix them up, And how many stops on the Circle Line? A lot, mate. And then the person who gets the second jack has to pay for the drink. The person who gets the third jack has to sip the drink. The person who gets the fourth jack has to down the drink. And you've got to be careful with it, because it's you might end up getting all 4. So. Thanks, Zombie. Yeah. I'll name that tune in 4. Bloody hell. Good job my fan's on. So you had the egg. Terminator 2 is the greatest movie. Yes, well, that's not really much of it. That just lowers Terminator 2's IMDb rating just dropped by a point because of you saying that, man. I mean, you're right. It's a great film. You know, I mean, it's got Arnold in it, and I love Arnold. You know, I will simp for Arnold. I can barely remember as a kid when you could still smoke on the London Underground, and then there was a fire at King's Cross station, which they blamed on a cigarette. I don't know. You say amazing soundtrack. I mean, it's Guns N' Roses, you know. And even when Guns N' Roses are good, I sort of begrudgingly like it because Axl Rose is such an unimpeachable tosser, you know. It's like when you hear a good song and you're like, oh, this is quite good. Who does this? Really? Limp Bizkit? You sure? Really? For fuck's sake. Yeah. It's got a great villain. It hasn't got the greatest villain. I get it. You like Terminator 2, Nabil. No one cares. Hasn't got the best villain ever, right, which is Hans Gruber. You know. The end. .com, you know. No, I can't stand Guns N' Roses, you know. Do you remember a couple of years ago when there was people like, you know, there was that one of these songs that's got lots of really offensive slurs and he says loads of horrible shit in it, and people were saying they should, you know, it should be taken off iTunes. I'm like, yeah, can we extend that to all of their entire back catalogue, please? Yeah. Possibly, you know. And their very existence. I mean, I like Slash. It's not Alan Rickman, it's Hans Gruber. See, that was one of the problems with Die Hard, is they started with the first film had the greatest baddie ever in it. And so you just don't know. I mean, like, you couldn't. Who's going to follow him? You know. No, the Mission Impossible theme is fucking good. That kicked in when I went to that skate park in Corby last week, and I was trying to do this thing. I was trying to go round these two markers and then go, which was down an incline, and then go round and try and go round, see how many times I could go round without kicking off. And as I started, like, I just had my headphones in and fucking Mission Impossible by Limp Bizkit, came in. I was like, but this is the thing I hated about Limp Bizkit and Kid Rock as well, is that, you know, for the large part they're shite and annoying, and you know, and their stuff's really fucking lame. But like in every album there'll be like 2 or 3 really good songs, and you're just like, why can't you just do that all the time? Why does it have to be surrounded by this pelt? Can't you just be shit completely? You know. No, I quite liked. I like "Eat You Alive" by Limp Bizkit. I like "My Way." You know, I like "Crack Addict." I like "Rolling." I mean, I grew up as I'm a wrestling fan, so. No, the Mission Impossible theme is not better than the James Bond franchise, because Mission Impossible's got one song, right? You know, a Bond song. Like you hear a Bond song and you know it, right? And James Bond will kick Jason Bourne's fucking arse, and that fucking cultist midget, closeted twat Tom Cruise as well. I get it, Nabil. You like the fucking Mission Impossible theme. And you like Terminator 2. Now, would you please fucking wind your neck in? Actually, no, is a little thing for if you want to show off to people who think they're big James Bond fans. Ask them who was the first ever James Bond. Now, they'll probably say George Lazenby, but they're wrong. The first ever James Bond started. The first ever time James Bond was broadcast was on South African radio, right? And the guy who played James Bond was a guy called Bob Holness, who, if you're probably of around my age and from the UK, you'll probably remember as the host of Blockbusters. Where everyone used to sing, you know. That's the answer to who the first ever James Bond is, yeah. The UK shown as the good guys. Well, that's because, yeah, but you know what? Everyone feels the same way when they see American films. You know, but James Bond isn't the good guy. I mean, he's not really. He's almost an anti-hero. You know, he's extremely, he's extremely broken and damaged guy. Yeah. Yes. Ah. Hello, Miss Moneypenny. Yes. Do you like my shirt? Yes, it's the Dundee United away kit. Yes. Please take a shit over here. Sean Connery said to me, and you blocked me on Twitter. Do you want to piss and moan about that, or are you just going to, you're unblocked now, aren't you? So do you want to piss and moan about that, or do you just want... Because if you do, I'll just fucking do it again. Or we can just move on. You can get over it. I'm sure you've learnt your lesson. Zardos. He did do Zardos. Zardos, wig. That's it. Cheers, mate. Nope, good. Still blocked. No, on here. Right. I don't care that you're blocked on Twitter, mate. Tough fucking shit, say I. Okay? Do you know what? You fucking give people a second chance, and they just... I get blocked by loads of people. And you know what? I just go... Sometimes you block someone for ages, and then you see them and go, I'll unblock them. And then within 2 minutes, you've realised, oh yeah, that's why. Like you ever, it's like we have a, remember when blocking was taboo? It still is, apparently. I love it when blocking is like, people use blocking as like, sort of like, oh, you won the argument. Like, no, you're literally just annoying me, mate. That's it. If that's what you want, then fine. But I'm under no obligation to fucking put up with your shit, It's Cucumber. Do you know what? I haven't seen Ben in months. Everyone blocks each other now. Well, good for them. That's everyone else's problem. I did have, you know, I didn't have a, I don't really have a sort of, it didn't have a massive blocking sort of like, you know, regime. But like generally, one of my rules was if anyone accused me of just, you know, of being, you know, of just wanting attention and being a subscriber whore, I'm like, okay, I'll block you then. So I can't have your subscription or your attention. So therefore I win. Yeah, but they just want. Yeah, but the thing is, it's like they just use that as an excuse. It's like, look, if you've got a problem with, that's how he chooses to run his channel. He's under no obligation to fucking, you know, to entertain or. So if you want to respond to something he said, fucking respond to it. You know, but stop. It's like, at what point are you going to get over it? You know, when are you gonna, you know, when are you just going to let it go? It's been what, 7 years. And you still, and people still. I even used to joke about it with Steve. I used to make joke. I used to call him. I used to call him Steve. You know, I used to call him Minecraft as a nickname because that's how many blocks he's got. You know. But like that's how he wants to run his channel. It's like, you know, no one's under. You know, and all these fucking, you know, I mean, how many people do I fucking... But, you know, at the end of the day, they're no better just because they don't block people. It's like, how many videos have I made to people that they have completely fucking ignored? Or that they will continue to ignore and pretend don't exist? Right? Now, they haven't blocked me. You know, they haven't fucking, you know... but they're choosing to deliberately ignore, you know... What I'm saying, you know, even though it's, you know, it's exactly what they're asking for, you know... But what's the difference, you know? Oh, I remember his truth of videos. Yeah, I mean, that was when he was. That was long before the. That was long before he was a feminized beta male simp cuck, pimp bitch. Do you know how I stopped being a 9/11 truther? I quit cocaine. And then about 4 to 6 weeks later, I was like, why did I believe this bollocks? This is all fucking... I know you can't say, I know correlation doesn't necessarily equal causation, but I just find it's a bit of a weird coincidence that I quit cocaine and within just over a month, I was no longer a conspiracy theorist, you know. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, I don't really watch too many of Steve's videos. I mean, it's not got nothing against him. It's just that he's, you know, I don't tend to watch people who I know I'm going to already fully agree with and stuff. And a lot of this, and like the stuff he talks to, like a lot of the stuff he talks about, like Star Trek and that, I could not give a shit about, you know. And, you had a tanky face. Oh God, no! I never had one of them. I mean, I didn't know what a tanky was until a few years ago. But I've yet, you know, I don't like to judge an entire group, you know, as negatively. But I've yet to meet one who I could tolerate, you know, interacting with for more than at least 3 or 4 seconds. I have to agree. You know, I actually, you know, I like the only Star Trek stuff that I ever liked was the new films, the reboots, and the 2 sequels. That was it. Didn't like it. You know. I had a girlfriend in 2011 and 12 who was friends with Brent Spiner, and she would not let up on trying to get me into fucking Star Trek Next Generation, and I'm like, I don't like it. Got nothing against it, it's just not what I'm after, you know. You know, dude, most of the videos I watch is stuff I don't believe. You know, this is the thing. You know, when you do what I do, when you do actual videos, you spend most of the time watching content you don't you know, watching or reading or listening to content that you don't fucking agree with. Well, I remember one of the funniest Facebook threads I've ever seen in my life was in the Facebook, one of the Facebook bottom fan groups, and it was just a load of bottom quotes over Jean-Luc Picard memes and Star Trek memes. And it goes on for like hundreds of them, and it's just so fucking funny. I don't know, man. I've never been a sci-fi fan, to be honest with you. It's just never. None of it's ever really stuck with me, you know. Well, the thing is, I grew up, you know, Sir Gastelot, who's my best friend. You know, he like there were three things that he was a big fucking nerd over: Lego, wrestling, and Star Wars. And the only one of those three that I liked was wrestling. But he would not shut the fuck up about Star Wars. And so that's why I chose I'm going to be a Star Trek fan. But I'm only going to be a Star Trek fan who likes the new films, the reboots, because that means I don't have to deal with Star Trek nerds, while still technically... And the only other thing I know about sci-fi is that when I started on YouTube, I used to get loads of comments from people saying I looked like a guy called Gaius Balter, who I had to look up, but. Darude, Sandstorm. Nothing like a good old bit of country and western, is there? I quite like the Fifth Element. I think it's but with Star Wars, I mean, this is the problem with Star Wars. It's kind of diluted. It's had so many films now that it's kind of diluted and watered down. Its fucking its overall obituary. Star Trek's supposed to be realistic, yeah, right. Do you think in like Star Trek? Do you think if you were to go up to Worf, the Klingon, with a Cornish pasty on your head, that's the equivalent of doing Asian eyes. If you're white, that would be racist, Or if you went around like that, I'm Worf, I'm just wondering, these are things, because I once went to a fancy dress party as a Klingon, just because the only thing I could find at the last minute was a Cornish pasty, which I thought I'll strap that to my head. And we ended up having a discussion as to whether or not that would be, in the Star Trek timeline, would that be considered racist? And we couldn't come to a consensus, but we did conclude one thing: even if it was, I didn't care. Fuck them. Now, Eddie Izzard did a fantastic Star Trek routine. It was like 20 minutes on start. It was like one of his earliest routines. It was like from like '93. It's fucking amazing. Mr. Scott, we need warp speed now. I can give you 25 miles an hour in a week. Oh, you're just having your own little conversation about shit I don't fucking I ain't interested in, so you lot carry on, you know. Did everyone have a good international left-hander day? Was it a left-hander day yesterday? No. I don't know. I was unaware of that, you know. Thought yesterday felt quite sinister. That was like that was one of my all-time favorite like pieces of spam, of porn spam email. It was just this spam email for a porn site, and the subject thing, it said "Get your left hand ready," and I was just like, "What do you mean get my left hand ready?" I'm like, why would it, you know? And I started thinking, like, have they invented porn that is like specifically, you know, only for people like it's in, you cannot jerk off to this with your right hand, like it's impossible. Like, is that? And it fucking worked. I clicked on it. Of course it was bollocks, you know. But after, you know, now that's, you know, I respect creative marketing, you know. I think it was the other one. Do you have bad breath? You know, do you have bad breath, gingivitis? Watch these videos and masturbate and cheer yourself up. Something like that. Because you realise something when you think about it. I realised that actually, if you work for a porn site, that's the hardest thing to try and sell and to market and to get people, because it's so easily accessible. Like in advertising, like when you're selling everyday products, you know, clothes, drinks, food, cars, whatever, you use sex. But if you're selling sex, then you can't, you know, and because it's so rampant and abundant on the internet, it's the only way you can get anyone to pay any attention to it is by coming up with creative fucking, you know, things that sort of like go, hold on. You haven't jerked off in ages. Well, it's really not my problem, mate. I mean, there is, you know, there are solutions. There are, you know, if you can't solve that problem, you know, or are you at that age now, you know, where you just like, sometimes you get halfway through and you're like, oh fuck it, can't be bothered. What is the fucking point, you know? You know, through word of mouth. Really, I know them because they're just like, you know, it's on the, I mean, like, it's the internet. It's impossible, you know. Me and my mate used to have a game where you had to type in just like, it was like Google Whack, but it was like you had to type in two, like, you had to type in like one or two, it could be any like one or two words that were totally non-sexual, but you typed them in with the word porn, and you had to see how, like, who could like have the least, who could have the most sort of like hits that were not pornographic. So you're typing some things like Arthur Scargill, you know, Alan Titchmarsh, porn, you know. You don't need to see a pop-up for Pornhub. You don't really need to, do you? I don't see a pop-up in ages. Oh yeah, well, I mean that's Rule 34, mate. You know, it's if it exists there. Well, you say that, but you know that's not, you know, strictly true, because I once Googled, because I thought I'd never seen this, and I thought this is an obvious one. You know, Mary Magdalene and, you know, getting a bukkake from Jesus and the disciples, you know, or at least a gangbang scene, doesn't exist. I'm like, how has no one thought about? And I just thought maybe it's so obvious. Everyone thought, nah, that's definitely been done. You know. Your audio is very low. Okay. No, it's just because I don't want you specifically to hear me. No. If you want to listen to my fucking shows, you have to fucking work at it. You know, I'm gonna make it easy for you. If you want decent audio, you need to support me on Patreon and listen to the videos on there. I make them like, you know, I put like a minimal amount of effort into the production quality of them. I don't really, you know. Truth, the money never lies, no. I'm the one, yeah. I'm the one early morning in the dawn and you wanna ride, no. I'm the one, yeah. I'm the one, yeah. Yeah, you're sick of all these other imitators, and the other real one to imitate you. Tell you what to send me all the time, yeah. Oh-yo-yo-yo. Oh-yo-yo-yo. I'm the one, oh-yo-yo-yo. Sorry, I forgot I started that wrong. DJ Khalid! tell you what, these fucking these padded longboarding trousers are quite warm, you know. But they take about an hour to get off, and so I'm stuck really. You know, feel free to contribute anytime you're bored, guys. We're all in this together, you know. Epic Games. You know what? I think Apple will win. Good luck to him, though. Epic is framing it as a fight against fascism. Yeah, it's not though, is it? You know, they can frame it. Sounds a bit desperate to me. Apple is refusing to sell Fortnite on mobile phones, right? Because the one thing about Fortnite is it's like, it's not, you know, it's being held back, isn't it? You know, I've barely even heard of what is Fortnite. I think even I downloaded fucking Fortnite, and I never played it, obviously, but Epic refuses to give them 30% cut. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I was under the impression that people have the right to decide what they. I mean, but what form is this war taking? You know, they say they're going to war with Apple, but what are they actually going to do? You know, I mean, they obviously can't sue Apple because Apple can sell whatever the fuck they want. You know. Prove you're old at all, you know. Dude, Fortnite is old. Christ almighty, when did Fortnite come out? What about? It's probably a lot further back than you think. You know. You want to feel old? My favourite one to sort of tell people, you know, my favourite one that makes people, you know, thing to point out. Anyone who's anybody whose 20th birthday falls in September, October, November, or December of this year was not born when 9/11 happened. 20. There'll be 20-year-olds were not born when 9/11 happened. I thought Fortnite was free anyway, or is that, how does that work? Because, you know, the one, you know, I remember, like, when I downloaded the app on the... So has TikTok actually been banned? You know, or is it actually? Is there actually? Because I don't watch it, so I don't. You know. Who did 9/11? Oh, fuck off, Spiker. Yeah. Can you imagine if it got banned? Can you imagine if you were like someone who's been on it for like last year, and you've just like in the last month you've gone, your TikTok account's exploded, and you've just had like 10 million views and all on ad revenue, and you're not gonna get fucking, and then fucking Trump goes and bans it. Dude, corporations appropriate everything. Corporations don't care about. You know, they just go with what's popular, and you know, it's smart marketing. Yeah. So like, remember when you know Nike, like, you know, Colin Kaepernick, Nike sort of like started like sort of did a thing with Colin Kaepernick, and everyone started going freedom Nikes. I'm like, this is left wing freedom fries, isn't it? Same way that every Christmas, the right have their fake war on Christmas, like, you know, and the left have the interminable debate about the song "Baby It's Cold Outside." It just doesn't feel like Christmas now until I see someone post a blog or an article or a post about the problematic nature of "Baby It's Cold Outside." It's weird, isn't it? How like you know certain types of like you know murderers or terrorists or you know people like of a political persuasion are cool to put on T-shirts, but others aren't. Like you know, like you could put Stalin, Chairman Mao, you know, Pol Pot on a T-shirt, and it would just be you know, and it's fine. It's you can't put Mussolini or you know. It's political correctness gone mad. I don't really care. I mean, it's a fucking it's a fucking T-shirt. I mean, it doesn't be you know. I don't even. I mean, I don't know what the fuck this is. You know, this is like some even a colorblind a colorblind gay man would fucking have to vomit over this. I don't even you know. No, it's not making a comeback, and it's not called the Hitler moustache. It's called the toothbrush moustache. Right. Right. You know, Richard Herring once did a stand-up show that was called Hitler Mustache, and when he toured it, like he had to have a toothbrush moustache the whole time, like. think that was the show where he did that brilliant bit on, like, you know, on how actually a racist view on race and diversity is actually much more unifying and progressive than a more progressive and liberal view of race. It was a really I'll have to find it. It was a really funny routine. Hey, gaming. Hey, JPLB96, if that is your real name. Oh. Oh, speaking of wet ass pussy and that, I did this today. I thought I would immortalise this day, so I did that one. Actually, I wasn't too sure where it was going to go if it was going to work out, but I think that's my best colour one so far. It's awesome. It does. Like I said, I was a bit worried. I've got the. I've only just started. Like, I mean, it's hard to sort of work. You got sort of like trying to work out the color, because I like doing it. I like doing colors. When I use colors, I like doing it high contrast, like not blending. I'll get round to blending it eventually. You know, when it will all meld into one. But it's that was the name of their song. It was Wet Ass. You know, the song's called WAP. WAP, you know. You feel like she'd be demanding. Fucking right she would, you know. She'd be like, I want this, and this, and this, and this, and some of this, and all of that. Fucking a little bit of that, none of this, and fucking all of that. And another thing, I want it now. I want it yesterday. Oh, she wouldn't say it in this accent, obviously. It's a good job the song wasn't called Wet Oily Pussy, because then the song would be WOP, which is an ethnic slur, you know. Actually, I remember that. I can't remember who did that joke, but it was like, you know, the way they refer to footballers' wives as wags, saying wags and wives and girlfriends. But it's actually not. It's actually not correct, because it should be wives or girlfriends. But then they would be wogs. I should do one of Shapiro. I tried drawing Ben Shapiro, but my hand just wouldn't do it. And like when it finally started, I just sort of like got into it. And next thing I know, I just written the word twat. And then, you know, the only sort of person I've ever drawn who I did so with utter who I despised was when I drew that picture of Sargon when he got milkshaked. Which I did for no reason than just because I could. It's just, I don't know. Is his sister? Please tell me his sister's like sort of 8'4" or something like that. Like, how do you draw like this without learning? Well, I did learn. What do you mean, Dad? What learning? Dude, I spent a year. I was practicing like five plus hours a day learning. You didn't think I just picked a pen up and just fucking started doing that? I fucking practiced my arse off. Without learning, you know, I didn't have a teacher as such. I was self-taught, but it's still the same thing. Did I go to art? Did he go to art school? Yeah, that's a proper DOS, you know. Well, I still myself, no. I have done in the past, but I just don't really care to do it, you know. She has the 1,000 yard. Yeah, but for Ben Shapiro, that's just the distance between. Like he has 1,000 yard stare because he's so short. Yeah. What he really needs is a periscope. You know. I'm not saying he's short, but you know, but when but the one time he gave his wife oral sex, he had to go up on her. You know. Someone should re-edit that scene from Father Ted when Ted's teaching Dougal about the difference between, like, you know, these cows are small, but those ones are far away. How short? He's short enough that it is a quite obvious and easy point of ridicule, and one that I refuse to, you know, ease up on. Because fuck him, you know. Chosen people, you know. How can you believe, you know? Particularly when you're claiming to be part of the God's chosen people. Why would God choose people who are short? People he's put the least effort into. You know, it's the same with Jesus. It's like if Jesus came back and Jesus was like, you know, Jesus has got to be at least 6 foot. I just couldn't take it. I couldn't take like a 5'4" Jesus seriously. The McPoyles. That's unfair, you know. I mean, I'm sure even Ben Shapiro's sister wouldn't fuck him. You know, they at least had an active sex life. That's nothing to do with your height, though, gaming, probably. Five 5'7" ain't that short. I mean, isn't that the average height of a woman? So it's like, door hard is, you know, it. I haven't went to art school. You know, you clearly haven't learned English properly either, but it looks really professional. You know, like I said, it's because I spent like, you know, like I said, I spent like a year just like, I started off just drawing like little like chibi figures, like cartoons and stuff, using like tutorials on the internet, but I weren't learning. So I came up with my own process, my own sort of like process and my own sort of way of doing it, and I just spent like I didn't draw anything specifically. I was like, like eyes today, eyes, 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 mouths, 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 hands, 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 arms, arms, arms crossed, hair, 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 and I just get, and you just do, drew nothing specific, just focused on that, kept it simple. I did one yesterday that I've been, it was meant to do ages ago, but it's quite a bigger one, but I did this one with Greta Thunberg, which I have done before in a smaller version, but that was But if you went through Ben Shapiro's videos, you could find all the words and lyrics to Skilo. I wish, They must be there, Of course, the problem is it involves watching all of Ben Shapiro's videos and, paying close attention. Don't forget, if you're watching, to smash that like button or the dislike button. It's your choice. It's all engagement. No, Ben has never enjoyed anything ever in his life. I reckon his dick's shriveled up. He's probably got a concave willy. I think it's growing out of his arse, probably. It reminds me of that joke in Bottom when Richie reads, goes to the toilet and he's like, he gets a phone number from some bloke called Frank in the toilet, and he goes, "You sound like an interesting fellow. I am 8 inches long and 3 inches round. What an amazing bloke. I wonder what his knob's like." Have I seen him laugh? No. It's not a laugh. It's it's what he thinks laughter is. I mean, he's clearly a replicant. Well, you won't see that Ben Shapiro unless, of course, you're crouching to tie your shoelaces when he walks past. You won't. The Voigtkampf test on him. That doesn't sound, something. That sounds, Let's not go too far. He is Jewish. Let's not be. What is the Voigtkampf? Is that like John Voight, the actor? It's a test to see if someone is a replicant in Blade Runner. Yeah, can't we just not do it? I don't want him to be a replicant, because that would mean he's actually sort of quite advanced. And even worse, it would mean someone made that, you know. You know. Obviously they didn't have many parts, you know. Oh no, I saw the article about a week ago about, you know, Jordan Peterson had coronavirus, and I was like, you fucking whiny voiced fucking prick. Just not your. Would you settle for a Turing test? No, I mean, can't we? No, I don't want any test on him. You know, I don't. You know, can't we just beat him around the head with a stick for half an hour? We'll call it the Dick Coughlin test. That sounds like. That sounds more fun, you know. It doesn't, you know, we won't learn anything or accomplish anything, but it'll be enjoyable, you know. It is. It's a wonderful shirt, you know. Getting lots of the shirt's getting lots of love. I mean, you know, it is really the only shirt I own. Now I think about it, like the actual sort of shirt in terms of collar and like buttons and shit. He stopped taking all his antidepressant drugs. You know, well, you shouldn't be so weak, you know. You shouldn't be such a victim, you know. I was a fucking drug addict. Did I go to rehab? No. I got over it myself, you know. Did he? No, he didn't fucking manage it. I wouldn't mind, but at least when I was a drug addict, I was a drug addict for, you know, for good reasons, because I enjoyed taking drugs. I didn't have to I wasn't on drugs because I couldn't deal with the fact that my wife, who had cancer, who seemed to be coping better than he did, was fucking, you know. I mean, what does that say about him, you know? Or maybe stop doing drugs. The doctor kind of sort of said it was a good idea, or I'd probably be dead in about 18 months to 2 years. And death is a great leveler, you know. But I mean, even, you know, but addiction, the way it is, when the doctor says you'll be dead in a year, you still go, oh, okay, fine. Too much too young, mate. Should have paced myself a bit. But I partied. Yeah. You were an upper guy. Well, generally, yeah. I mean, well, yeah, cocaine, crack cocaine, methamphetamine, you know, and yeah. Anything that made you sit up for like 7 days non-stop, you know, talking endless bollocks to your own shadow and chain smoking, and that made your dick shrivel up. Yeah, that's what I was going for. See, that's your problem, gamer. You're not trying hard enough. Well, you know, cancer can go into remission, you know. But saying that, you can divorce Jordan Peterson and then make him give you half. But then cancer, you know, you can get into Disneyland for free, you know. And you might be able to meet John Cena. Well, why don't you do them now, when you're older? You're less likely to get stopped. You probably, you know, you're probably able to afford them more. You know, probably going to be. You probably take them in a much. You'd probably be much more sensible about how you take them. You know? I don't think it's, you know, I don't give a shit if he wants to eat meat only. That's his fucking, you know, business. If he wants to fucking, you know, do that, that's fine. You know. I don't see why you would actively avoid vegetables. I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong with enjoying. There's nothing wrong with, you know, enjoying meat, but it's like, you know what, you know, just nothing. You know, no. Well, no, it won't give you a heart attack. You fucking zombie. What do you mean at your age? What are you like? Fuck. What are you, George Burns or something? For fuck's sake, at your age. Let me kill Mister. Live till he was 70 fucking 1 bastard years old. He died when he was 67. It was only the meth that kept him animated. How old am I? I'm 40. I know my Justin Bieber-esque boyish good looks belie that fact. I never said there was anything wrong with a joint. You know, it's not my thing. I just find it interminably boring. You're around 50. That's not an answer, is it really? Well, that's not really fair. Gaming, you know, hypocrisy is not. I can tell you for a fact, hypocrisy is not in any way, you know, been monopolised by any political. Hey, Jesse, how you doing, darling? I've seen you in ages. Bearded face fucker. I think do you mean bearded? Oh, you put a comma between face and fucker. That was disappointing. It would be true without the comma. I'm just all I'm going to say. No, I do. Well, no, the thing is, like, I actually don't look any. I've looked like this since I was about 18. I haven't really changed. You know, I haven't got a receding hairline. I haven't really got many grey hairs. I haven't really got that many wrinkles. I'm the same weight. You know, I look pretty much. I basically look, but this is not when I was 18. I looked like shit, but now I'm 40. I look quite good. Like people, you know, I just look good in relation to how. You know. How about this, geek? Shut up and listen, and wait to join in. Do you want us to go through the last fucking hour and 40 minutes? Right? Just play it back. This is my chat. It's hardly going to be anything of any value or merit, is it? You have to figure out your birthday. Stop pretending you don't know how old you are. Right? Right. No one's impressed. You've all... I don't, yeah. Well, I mean, on the internet, it is. I realised that when I joined the internet, I realised I was much better looking online. You know, like, I look like, you know, I'm like, you know, I'm just like a bit odd in the real world. But I came on the internet, and I'm like, you know, I'm like the 5th best looking guy on the internet. You know, Neville Freeze in the top 10. You know. Well, no, left wing people do, mate. You it's because you pay attention to right wing people more than you do left wing people, mate. But trust me, it's like, it's... But here's the thing, mate, you know, they win, don't they, you know? You know, it's how they're doing better, you know, because that's really, you know... I've missed you, Jess. Well, you know, you should message me sometime, even if you can. Are you still on Facebook, or you know? I think your Skype's still I literally have one person who I talk to on Skype. It's my mate Lewis, and I every time he wants to talk on Skype, I have to re-download the app, and then I immediately delete it because I won't talk to him for like another. Like, how's my idiopathic improve? No, we've been over this. That it's not going to improve. It's not got any worse since they. It's not. First of all, it's not idiopathic. They worked out back in 2018, you know, what was the cause, and we began treating it. And at that point, you know, the only thing, there would be no improvement. It would just be, it won't get any worse. And I won't do things like I won't lose, like my leg won't suddenly go limp, and I won't be able to stand up. You know, I won't lose any more feeling. And I haven't really, to my knowledge. It was B12. Well, it was a condition I have called B12 malabsorption disorder, which means my body doesn't absorb enough B12. So it's easily treated. All you got to do is put and ingest more B12. You know, that's it. But you got to keep doing that. Obviously, it's not going to get. That's not going to go away. But it's a. It's a vitamin, geek. Me being vegan had enough. Dude, I had only been vegan. First of all, I wasn't vegan. I was vegetarian. And secondly, the only time it ever affects people because of vegetarianism is because they, you know, is because they've been vegetarian for a long time and they've had a poor vegetarian diet. I'd only been vegetarian for about 1.5 years, 2 years. Right? And it wouldn't have mattered even if I hadn't been, because it was because the problem was not my diet. My problem was my body was not able to absorb enough B12, and it had nothing to do with, you know, me. If I'd have been a vegetarian, it wouldn't have been any better, you know. On a borrowed laptop, good girl. Yeah. Cool. Well, you know, put your Skype online, and when I've finished here, I'll try and send you a message. Why you trun away eat? Okay, can you rearrange those words into a workable sentence that makes sense in the Western world from left to right? Well, I don't get, I have I have a B12 injection once every 2 weeks. Why you turn away from meat? Why? Oh, why did I stop it? You know, because I just wanted to. I wanted to be a vegetarian. I'd been a vegetarian before in the early 2010s, but it didn't last too long because I'm weak. And but I'd always wanted. I'd wanted to. I'd wanted to. In terms of I couldn't. The fact is I couldn't sort of justify. Me continuing to eat meat on any level that was. Yeah, well, I re-dyed it yesterday. It was a bit faded pink, but I re-dyed it yesterday. Yeah. Any more vlogs? Obviously not. No. And I kind of had, and at the time when I turned, I kind of had a good excuse because the woman I was engaged to at the time was also vegetarian, and it would have been nice for me to be able to eat a meal, and then not have her back away in fear as my meat stained beard, I don't think I could do veganism just because I'm too fucking lazy. I probably could, you know. If I was going to be a vegan, I would be a raw food vegan simply because I'm lazy. You know. I missed your pink pussy hair. Well, if you're lucky, I might just show it to you. On Skype, but that's in private. You know. I might go back to it. You know, it's like I only sort of started eating meat again. I mean, the doctor didn't say it was, I had to, but I just thought, well, even if it gives me, it's just I thought, mate, even though the odds on me getting the feeling back in my hands and feet were, extremely remote because they'd been dead for so long, I just, no, unfortunately, darling, I had to give Judy away. At the end of last year, my landlord moved me into a new room, which was actually next door, and it was so small that there just weren't enough room for her, and it would have been cruel for me to keep her there, so I had to give her back, I'm afraid. Yeah, I don't want to flex on you, but according to my analytics on OnlyFans, my OnlyFans account is in the top 99%. I don't know who the poor bastards are who are 1%, but I think they should probably kill themselves. Yeah, but that's the problem. See, that's the thing, gaming. It's like, habit, and when the first reason you give for doing anything, or the first justification is, I like it, like, as someone who, spent a long part of his life as a drug addict, that's a junkie's excuse, and it's like, and that's not a good enough. I don't bust on people for it. It's like I don't want to bust on you for. I don't. That was always my thing. I was never going to be one. I didn't want to be one of those wanky vegetarians who, annoy people. But I have still got. But I have. I've got more rats than my last. Than the last time we spoke. I've only got one of the girls left. Sarah died at the end of last year, but I've still got Miley. She's still going somehow, and I've got 3 boys who are out in the hallway. 3 young brothers, and they're called Mac, Charlie, and Dennis. Yeah, but smoking's vegan. So is heroin. Just do cocaine. You won't want to eat anything. Well, that's probably because you haven't learned how to cook, mate. Cooking is easy. It's not difficult. You just get a book, follow the recipe. It's not hard, I was a chef for nearly 25 years, mate. Smoking vegan what? No, smoking is vegan. No, I said smoking is vegan. Cigarettes, there's no meat, just chuck a load of, just get a load of stuff together. Just, it's not cooking ain't hard. It's you don't even get a cook. You need to get a cookbook. There's loads of YouTube channels that fucking. Yeah, hey, Reefer. Do I know how to make noodles? Put them in water and in a pan. I mean, it's not. What you mean from scratch? Is crack vegan? I don't know. It's the least of your worries, really. No. Why would you make fucking noodles from scratch? Waste of goddamn time. Yeah. What you're asking me, really, when you say do I know how to make noodles, what you're actually asking is do you know how to boil water, is what you're really asking. Yes, because they're plants. It doesn't matter what they eat, But but big newsflash. Not a lot of people. It's not really high on the fucking gravy meals. Is that a thing? Is it? Actually, you can eat meat gravy. Vegetarians can eat. There's no meat in actual. Like you can eat meat flavored like crisps and potato chips when you're vegetarian, or even pot noodles because there's no meat in it. It's just When you try your best but you don't succeed. When you get what you want but not what you need. When you try so hard but you can't see. Well, Sunday roast what? I mean, if it's roasted octopus arsehole, then no, and stew. What stew? Yeah. Stuck in reverse. I know, but unfortunately, if you're a man, it will make your dick fall off and cause you to grow a pair of tits. It's a scientific fact that. Corn is a new vegetarian. But I'll tell you what. No, I mean this is the thing. I mean when I when I went vegetarian back in like 2016, it's like that's the one thing that was surprising because like all these like meat substitutes I remember were just fucking awful. They were just like it was just cardboard painted and made to look like it was shit. But but like things there's so much of it like I wouldn't have known it was vegetarian if I'd unless I'd known beforehand. Corn chicken nuggets, I could not tell you the difference between that and actual nuggets of chicken. Yeah. I still haven't had an Impossible Burger. I still haven't had one of those, you know, one of those bleak vegan burgers. Now, do you know how you make noodle sauce, right? You just take the packet of powder that comes out of the, you know, and then you just put it in the water, and then that's it. MSG sucks. Does not. I have to disagree with you on that one. Am I going to cover any more books? What books have I covered before? I think I've ever done a video on a book before. You can't find MSG in shops. We'll get it online. You can get anything online. So. Get some crystallized capsaicin. 16 million Scoville units. Like you buy salt. Or what? You mean like under cover of darkness? I've just logged into Skype, Jess. Ghost pepper ain't shit, mate. I've still got my Carolina Reaper chili sauce I bought in 2015. I've not even got down the neck of the bottle yet. It's only about that fucking. You did a stream about some book. Oh, the Dave Room book. Oh, I'm not going to fucking. Well, you know, the thing is, I recently resubscribed to this website because it's a great website to just find batshit bonkers fucking, you know, stuff people have written. But Scribed, you know, SCRIBD, and it's just really great. You just write things, you know, you just like go onto the document section and just write, you know, Jews, and then you'll just be inundated with all of this absolute fucking bonkers shite. You know, the and I just, and it's that's a great one. But I'm not gonna. I am gonna do a video called "Everything That's Wrong with Dave Rubin's Book," where I go through it systematic, because there's loads of stuff in. I mean, like I said, I only covered a little bit, but it's going to be like a comprehensive list of not just things he says in the book that are wrong, but just how badly it's written. How how poorly thought out it was, how confused the his target audience it is in terms of the target audience and what have you. It's but yeah, I was that was a one-off special. That was for my homie. That was for my homie, Mr. Brooks. Yeah, but I will admit, even I was surprised at how awful Dave Rubin's book was. Because it was just fucking. I had you thinking, right? Well, I was, to be fair, mate, I was reading Dave Rubin's book. I was struggling to fucking. My brain was dissolving by the end of it. It's like I do plan on at some point going through the book and just sort of like listing as many things wrong with it. Yeah, my opinions are interesting, mate, and fascinating. Just ask the people who've been following me the longest. They'll tell you. Haven't been wrong since 1983. So, Rubin's old-fashioned. No, he's not. He's boring. He's a boring, uninteresting, charmless, uncharismatic, vapid, drippy little fucker. He's not even hack. I mean, hack is still something. I mean, he's like, it's not even the fact that he's hack in the most, like, fucking, it's the way he talks, the way he frames it in the book, like he's had some profound fucking revelation, or he talks to his audience like they're literally children, Like when he's talking about marijuana, when's ContraPoints? Dude, I don't fucking know. Go ask ContraPoints, Maybe she's made a video and her next one's like for 1 million subs and she's waiting for it to fucking. That's the point. Who's won the first transgender to 1 million race between Contra and Blair White? I think Contra was just ahead last time. They were approaching the final. They were approaching the final 10,000. She does. She puts a ridiculous amount of effort into her videos. You know, so she only does. It's why she only does like one a month for ages. You know. I mean, I could not be. I don't know how how people who do those sort of YouTube videos cope. It's like fucking what's his name? You know, down the rabbit hole. Like, I mean, he's done his Wings of Redemption video. It took him 3 fucking months. He's done 4 videos in a year. You know. But yeah, but you got to determine. Yeah, but that depends what your definition of overproduced is, dude. Some of my stuff is the most fucking over the top shit. I've done videos where I've deliberately over edited or just overwritten the fuck out of them, just because I can. You know. I don't know what overproduced means. I mean, it's like they spend. You know, their videos look like they've spent a fucking month on them. You know, and they're not overproduced. They just put a lot of, you know, they just. No, he's got loads of great videos. His Time Cube videos. One of his videos, I remember that. I think it was the one about the. It was the one about that guy who was a bit bonkers, who made that. Oh, what's it fucking called? Temple OS thing. I was actually crying by the end of that video. I was genuinely. You know, it's not what's important to you, right? But that's why you don't watch those videos. You watch videos that are, it's important to them. That's what they want to do. They want to make they're making a lot of money. They've got a lot of people. So they want to put as much effort as, but they have characters and costumes. I've done skits and, you know, do that occasionally, but it's I don't think it's I don't think they do it unnecessarily, you know. I watched one video about Who Shot Mr. Bird. I'm currently watching a video essay series. A guy did a 6-part video essay series on House. And I've never seen many video series on. I think the best video, the best sort of like video analysis, like, or TV show analysis I've done is this guy. He did this for I think it was like for a college project. But he was analysing the way like Breaking Bad was filmed, and it's 15 minutes, and it just sat there going, my God, I've just like never seen, you know, it's let me see what it's called. What's it called? Here it is. It's called The Dichotomy of Walter White. It's not even 10, it's 15 minutes. It's 10. Let me find it. Just watch this fucking... This is the kind of shit that I wish I could fucking... Hold on. Hold on. Right. Okay, let's try that again. Let's start again. No. There we go. That's better. So, well, that's what I'm sort of I've been trying to finish. I want to do one this month. I've been working on. I've been working on one for like most of earlier today. You know, hopefully that will be this month's video, because I've done enough. But here we are. This is The Dichotomy of Walter White. I'll put my fucking sound. I'll turn my mic off so you can listen to this. But just pay attention to the absolute insane detail and what this guy goes into. It's just incredible. It's so impressive.
Why? Because your boss is gonna need me. 6353 Juan Tabo, apartment 6.
At its core, Breaking Bad is a catharsis. That is, as a viewer, we want to keep watching episode after episode until the next big moment.
Oh! Damn, man, look at that, look!
But what separates Breaking Bad from other television shows is its lack of downs. Every moment is somehow bigger than the last. We come to desire these intense, cringe-inducing scenes, effectively transforming us into what Ian Jensen of the University of California calls connoisseurs of the horrific. Vince Gilligan, creator and head writer of the series, mesmerizes us with the lives of these characters, so effectively, in fact, that we come to want the brutality associated with becoming a meth-slinging kingpin. And just like Waltz, our typical values disappear. We blindly follow the persona of Heisenberg into the dangers that coincide with his new line of work. Perhaps no character in the series illustrates that danger better than Gus Fring. He's a model of professionalism and intelligence, something Walt so desperately strives to be.
If I could just talk to Gus, I know I can make him understand. Please, if I could talk to Gus, I can convince him, okay? Just let me, please let me talk to him. Shut up!
In his 2-season run as one of the show's lead antagonists, Gus and the way he does business frustrate Walt, not because of the way it negatively affects him, but because within, he wants to be him. We see this perfectly in the season 3 finale, Full Measure, one of the 5 episodes crafted by Gilligan from the director's chair. The episode begins in a flashback, opening on the first time Walt and Skyler see the house they've lived in for 18 years. When episodes earlier Walt sits at a table in Gus's extravagant home, here, a young and ambitious Walt talks about how the couple need to dream bigger.
I just think we need to set our sights high is all, at least higher than here.
Match this intro camera movement to the same one later in the episode. This time, as the camera spins around, his now estranged wife sets the table for one of their few nightly family dinners. His son does homework at the bar, happy his dad's home at all, while Walt sits, able to spend a small amount of time with his newborn daughter. Meanwhile, Gus can't seem to get his kids to appreciate the food he prepares in his lavish kitchen.
But I never get to make it. The kids won't eat it. But, you know how that is.
Originally starting with the purpose of providing for his family, Walt's occupation has effectively worked to break his family apart, something our young laboratorian likely never let cross his mind. Theme, then some establishing shots. In the episode prior, Walt goes against the grain by disobeying Gus's wishes, killing 2 of his dealers to save Jesse from danger. Now back in present time, he sits in his car waiting to deal with the fallout. His paranoia is shown to us through an extended use of shots, 15 across a minute and 23 seconds. Gilligan draws this out, helping extend Walt's fear to the audience. During the long walk over, the out-of-focus car lights sit like watchful eyes on the horizon. When we finally make it to the car, Gilligan holds back on showing Gus's face. Another 44 seconds to go by before we cut to the medium shot. Gus tells Walt,
Explain yourself.
the arrangement of the characters in the wide shot places Walt in a claustrophobic position. Unless he's the sole subject of the shot, he's out of focus or insufficiently acknowledged within the frame. Gilligan has visually stacked the odds against Walt, which ultimately make what happens next so important. Outnumbered 3-1 and in the middle of nowhere, Walt is a sitting duck, yet, hat in hand, our Heisenberg isn't ready to give up just yet. He convinces Gus to let him live and continue cooking as usual, or so it seems. After the agreed change of cooking partners, Gail Bedecker once again joins the Superlab crew. Under constant supervision, our Orwell-inspired cinematography continues.
When exactly did that start?
That's new.
Gus and his men have Walt in a position of weakness. Gilligan continues to illustrate that. Despite this, Walt's ego is satisfied, after keeping his previous partner from harm and working with a new partner who wants nothing more to please him in every way.
However you like things to be done is exactly how we're going to do them. Period.
But Gus knows what he's doing. While Gale faithfully serves under a master chemist, ultimately he holds all the cards. The devising a plan to eliminate the unnecessary difficulty of working with Walt, Gus begins to spin a web of lies. Here's where the critical difference between Walt and Gus is, though. While Gus sits in Gale's homely apartment, he has complete awareness of the evil corporate intentions behind his deception. He acknowledges his position in the scheme of this operation and owns it, something Walt just can't seem to do, going so far as to develop a whole persona to cope with the idea. Deep down, Walt can admit that cooking has more to do with himself than his family. His desire to live up to his own expectations push him further and further into the madness. While Gus has built an empire that seemingly bends to his will, Walt and his subservient former students scrape by to stay alive and out of trouble. The brilliance of Gilligan's writing shines here, as their conflict lies in their dependency on one another. Without Gus and his reach, Walt's product does not move, but without Walt and his quality of product, nothing will sell. They need each other, and, at least at this point in the story, neither can continue solely.
Gus, you do this. All you'll have left is an $8 million hole in the ground.
Suspicious of Gus's tricks, Walt has Saul arrange a meeting with Jesse. In a Q&A on AMC.com, Vince Gilligan cites film noir as a big influence in the development of Breaking Bad. Within this genre, bright, flashy colors often alert the viewer to dangerous situations, which is fitting that as Walt convinces Jesse that Gale needs to die, the arcade machines behind them paint the background with a consistent blinking glow. The conversation ends with an agreement. Walt will kill Gale, but he needs Jesse's help to find the address. Jesse agrees, and later that night, they attempt to put the plan into motion, only to be stopped by Gus's men, seemingly always one step ahead.
We got a problem. Some kind of chemical leaking in your lab.
As they try to march him to an obvious death, Walter needs a plan. Luckily for him, moments like these, where pressure begins to mount and the walls close in, are where he shines. When earlier in the episode we see Mike take down 4 cartel members single-handedly, Walt has to helplessly call for a contemptible junkie to do his bidding. Our shots move in. Gilligan wants us to feel the same pressure as Walt. It's not until he offers his partner up that we feel relief. The camera pulls back. Walt has room to breathe. Mike presses for an exact address, then Walt goes for his phone. We're back on Walt with tight framing because he's too comfortable. We pan to Jesse still in the arcade, but this time the only colored light we see is a foreshadowing red. While Gus and his forward thinking have set Walt up for failure, Walt's quick-wittedness throws a wrench in his operation.
You'll have about a 20-minute lead. They've got me at the laundry and they're going to kill me. Jesse, do it now! Do it, bitch! Do it fast!
Jesse rushes to get to Gale before Victor, and now, as Gilligan illustrates, that pressure is now on Gus's men. Mike and Victor are framed closely, while we have a little breathing room around Walt. The tables have turned. In possibly one of the hardest to swallow season finales of all time, Gilligan effectively paved the way for one of the best rivalries to ever grace television with Season 4. Walt and Gus have similar motivations, but go about obtaining their goals very differently. Walt wishes he could express the qualities they share like Gus does, and as we see in Season 5, he begins to.
68%. And falling.
Good morning. May I have your ticket, please?
For the first time, Gus is challenged and seriously shaken. Walt wants what he's got. Both Gale and Tomas represent corrupted innocence. 2 episodes in a row, Gilligan hits his audience with these big moments, 2 very difficult deaths. First, a child caught in the wrong crowd, followed by an unsuspecting and indefensible man. While Gus wasn't directly responsible for the former, Walt was definitely responsible for the latter, willing to go extreme extents to keep himself and Jesse alive. That's why, I believe, we want Walt to win. Gus is willing to run a clean operation given the right tools, while Walter, however, just needs to be on top. From wheelchair bombs to Corleone-level hit jobs, Walt brings about the relief Gilligan conditions us to want. We root for Walt, but we cheer for Heisenberg.
It's just incredible, you know. It's just so all that shit you just don't notice, you don't think about, and it's just he just lays it all out there, you know. I love shit like that, you know. See, that's the kind of bastard you don't want to watch a fucking film with, though. You watch an essay with him, but you don't want to. I've watched so many fucking videos, like films with film students, and they just fucking, you know. There's only it's I can't remember the name of the guy. It's literally called House, everything but the kitchen sink or something like that. He's only done. I mean, it's a 6-part series. He's only done 2 parts so far, but they're like the first one's like they're like 40 odd minutes each. You know, it's he ain't fucking around. You know. It's amazing the dumb shit you end up with. I do like the that channel, like the right opinion, you know, but like his last video was a 4.5 fucking hour long video about this fucking Looney Tune fucking prick called Nicocado Avocado, and I watched the whole fucking thing, and I'm like, what am I fucking doing, you know? And I'm like, 2001 Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick was 2 hours long, and that goes from the birth of mankind to the creation of a new alien species, and that's only 2 hours. Nicocado Avocado got 4.5 hours. You know, it's It's weird how YouTubers' videos tend to always start off shorter and get longer and longer to the point, like, you know. And I wonder whether that's sometimes like, you know, whether that's a bad thing, because like it's like, you know, you could do a video that's not 2.5 hours long and probably be perfectly fine, you know. That's not really the lesson, but if you want to take that, it's fine. I mean, that's the thing. I have a, like, you know, but whereas you know, lots of people have a messianic complex. I had a Dr. House complex, you know. Like, and I've ticked a lot of the boxes, you know. Like, I've been in a nut house. I've been a drug addict. I've got bad legs and use a cane. You know, I've never got any money, you know. Like a skateboard, you know. Well, I don't know if everyone deserves one, you know. It's but there's so many great just fucking so many like moments that the amount of times I've like, but I mean I think the most thing, like the most it's when when Amber dies at the end of like season 4. That's like, because when you consider how much she was the hateable character. She was the one everyone hated, and yeah, and just like every time Cutton's funeral, gone. Generally, the end of Broken, I lose it there as well. Like, you grew to like her, you know. What? With your op on the... I don't know what those words mean, mate. You need to try it again. Yeah, Hugh Laurie's very good. If you want to, like, you know, if you want another series, he was very good in. He plays a much more overt villain. But the Night Manager was it's Hugh Laurie and Tom Hiddleston, and two of my heterosexual man crushes. You know. I did just want them to do once. I wanted them to do one episode of House where Hugh Laurie played George from Blackadder. You know, just... Yeah, it was only one season. Like, there was 6 episodes, and there was plans for many years to do a second season, but they didn't. I don't think they need to. But it's a really good show, good story. You've lost your sense of smell. I don't care. He does use the voice. He does use the George voice once. In like, it's an episode where he's trying to ring up these doctors who are in England, and like, so it's 3 in the morning. He's like, oh hello, yes, wonderful. Right, I bloody well say, Blackadder. Me and Woofer, Woofer and the Todger, they went down in the first year. Then so did Squiffy and Strangely Brown. No, I don't think so. I don't think Hugh Laurie's a very different performer than Stephen. Stephen Fry's very sort of extroverted. Hugh Laurie's very introverted. He's very sort of insecure and shy. Whereas Stephen Fry's much more sort of outgoing and charming. You know. Apparently, according to Stephen Fry, when he was like, you know, like when Hugh moved out to LA because he was doing House, like Hugh Laurie would always speak in an American accent, and like because he realised there were loads of people in America who'd never heard of him before, and so like he didn't want anyone to think he'd gone mad, you know. I did do that video once. I mean, it was a joke. It was a joke about sort of trying to integrate Islamic fundamentalists into Western culture. It's like they need to remake House for, you know, for members of Al Qaeda. It's called Cave. Got away with that somehow, you know. So I don't mind it as much because what annoys me is when you get these Americans who only know Rowan Atkinson as Mr. Bean, like they know nothing else. I've got nothing against Mr. Bean, but like, there's so much amazing stuff Rowan Atkinson's been in, you know. I used to have all these books about House. They were actually books about they were actually psychology for psychology students and stuff. But they were really interesting. But I'd like 5 or 6 of them that I found on Amazon. Yeah, I think they have that zombie pineapple. It's called Twitch. Although Tortured Genius might be the bit used to. There might be a user called Tortured Genius, but it's odds are If you want to sit around and just watch people play video games, there's plenty of that online. Yeah. I still think Critical probably has to be the funniest guy to watch play video games. I just when I remember when I first found his channel, I just watched every fucking video. I was just pissing myself with laughter. Yeah, well, so have I. It's not her thing, dude. It's a condition. It's an illness. She doesn't have a choice of it being her thing, Trying not to wank, right? Well, could you do it elsewhere? Like, I don't want you watching me and trying not to wank, You either wank or you don't. Do or do not. There is no fucking try. Come back when you're willing to fucking take a stand. Fence-sitting centrist bastard. No, but no one makes it her thing. It's just, it's... I know it's not me, but that's not her thing then, is it? I mean, it's like saying Stephen Hawking's thing was sitting still. It's... Or having a robot, or having a fucking, having a Simon Speaks voice. It wasn't his thing, That was just something, it's like... It's not saying my thing is having a brown piece of shit on my face. It's like, it's not. It's just it's there, Solidarity with who? I don't watch Twitch, I'm sure she's doing all right without me. I've heard of her. She ain't heard of me, so she's doing all right. We're Tourette's people. We don't need solidarity. We just need to be able to keep our heads still. Walk past that group of ethnic minorities without screaming something that's going to get us killed. I did think it was funny last year at the Edinburgh Festival when some guy won an award for like for a joke, like it was like best joke. It's like it was this TV show award, and they gave it to a guy who made a joke about a Tourette syndrome joke, and everyone was just like getting on the. And I'm like, I've got it. I thought it was funny, you know. I'm like, when did everyone just suddenly start giving a shit about people? It wasn't even an offensive joke. It was just, he walks on stage and he goes, cauliflower, cauliflower, broccoli, broccoli. Sorry, I suffer from Tourette syndrome. That's it. And there are just all these people, none of whom, from what I saw, had Tourette's. Fucking... Like, it's just a pun. It's just a fucking innocent pun, you know? You're welcome to steal it. I mean, you won't get away with it, probably. I mean, you won't take it very far, you know? Like I said, it won an award, you know? Like I said, it's not a joke worth causing a stink over, you know, is it? You know. Because it's not even a joke about Tourette syndrome. It's about you know. It's just a you know. He's just found that he's just got all of Tourette's rhymes with Tourette's. I'll say that's it. It's not even in any way mocking, like, you know. Of course, you then realise that when leftists say you should listen to, you know, the victims of this, what they mean is you should listen to the ones who agree with me. No, don't listen to those other ones. You know, who have a different opinion. You know. Hey ho. Okay, I'm gonna go for an. I'm probably gonna go till. I'm gonna go for. We'll make 3 hours, and then I'll. Biden ain't a leftist. Who said anything about Biden? Who said anything about Biden? Stop twitching like a crack addict. Well, that's very difficult, mate, because I am a crack addict. You know, that's. I'm not twitching like a crack addict. I'm twitching as a crack addict. You know. If it's any consolation, I would be twitching even if I wasn't. But you know, it doesn't help. You know. But yeah. What a strange man. Especially funny since we've just sat here and just been, you know, taking the piss out of the fact that he got Tourette's and he comes and thinks that's going to make an effort. You know, when my material about my own afflictions is funnier than and more insulting than the shit you can come up with, what does that say about you? You know, you should be ashamed. And I never mentioned Joe Biden, so I don't know why you're bringing him up. You know. Okay, so far so confused and zombie pineapple. Yeah, the only. Oh, here we are. Stop cracking like a Twitch addict. Exactly. Yeah. Look, there's 22 people in here who aren't talking and he's so confused. Zombie Pineapple and Lewis are the only ones. And according to the participants section, who are these fucking like 20 odd bastards who come here? Oh, here we go. There's another one coming. Yeah. Take those knee pads off. You're in your middle age. No. I'm a middle-aged man. I'll do what I want. I'm not going to do what some guy called Joel Dies on the internet does. What kind of loser would I be then? I mean, dude, you're a fucking troll with 100 sock accounts. I mean, what you do isn't cool at any age. It doesn't matter how old you are. You're a fucking sad sack of shit, my friend. You know? And take those knee pads off. I mean, what the fuck is this? What has trolling become? Take those knee pads off. You're a middle-aged man. No, I paid for them. With my money, I'll do what I want. You know? I do admire you for not taking the easy route, like a lot of people did, and just Googling Tourette's jokes and then just, you know. You could have easily done that, you know. To be fair, I don't even think I've, you know. Weird uncle I'd see at Christmas. To be honest, either of them would be preferable to my actual weird uncle. I don't mean weird uncle. It's my family. Everyone's fucking weird. We're all the weird versions of the. You know. You look like a hobo H&M model, right? Okay, you really need to fucking think that one through again, mate, because that's just. It should be you look saying you look like a hobo H&M model, right? What you're saying is I actually look better than a hobo. You know, that's, I mean, a hobo would have been enough. And also, I love the use of the word hobo. Very, you know. But a hobo model, that's actually better look. So I'm one of the better looking hobos. So thanks, you know. And you should have written it H&M like that. Because that's the actual name, you know. It's not a H space and M, you know. I mean, I don't want to be nitpicky here, but, you know. I don't want to overanalyze this shit, but, you know, just... I mean, that's your third attempt in a row, you know, come on. See, an H&M hobo would have worked better. You know, that would have been a much more, you know, it would have flowed a lot better. You know, it was a bit clunky the way you said it. You know, it's okay. You know, you actually don't have a weird uncle, but you just have a normal one. They're all normal. I struggle to fuck it. See, I've never met anyone else from your family, so I don't really know. That's how weird his uncles are. The thing that makes his uncles weird is they're all normal. He's gone full, you know. He's gone full circle. Your brother doesn't have any kids. Well, your brother it wouldn't matter. You know, it would be your dad's brother who'd need to have kids, you know. Your dad would have to have a brother. It's not your brother. Oh, you're a weird uncle. You are a weird uncle, you know. I mean, you know, you're fully prepped and ready to go, you know. See, I'm the perfect bad example, uncle, you know. I'm just like, you know, whatever my kid, you know, whatever, you know, happens, my sister just needs to go, you know, just turn out the opposite of him, you know. If you ever got a problem, you don't want to talk to me about it, you know, talk to Uncle Richard, and whatever he tells you, do the exact opposite, you'll be fine, you know. See, I have a particular hatred for British Trumps, but when I hear someone on LBC praising Trump in an English accent, it just breaks my heart. You know? It's like, you know. Anyway, they're doing it for. They're not doing it for fun. They actually mean. They actually mean this shit. Okay. Well, in the immortal words of Hill Street Blues, I think I'm going to knock this on the head and get back to where I was. You ate too many. Oh, look, it's it's not Michael Brooks because Michael Brooks has died. I ate too many cakes. That's it. That's the thing that's supposed to upset me. Really? Too many. Why did he have a? Did he have a wheat allergy? That's just bizarre, you know. I mean, there you go. It's okay. I've just he died. I know he died of a blood clot, and I'm disappointed it was that boring. I was hoping he'd be found, you know. He stuffed Kipling. Yes, because eating cakes causes blood clots. Right. Just so you know, I reported you for hate speech. Not because there is any. It's just that, you know, it's just really sort of like disappointing, you know. I'm sorry, can someone look this into me? Since when did cakes cause blood clots? I think he's confusing. What a strange little man. I've never met, you know, this. I know who this person is who's doing this. I've just never met a troll this inept who's just wrong all the time about nothing. And it's like, you've got one thing as a troll, to be offensive and rude, and that's it. And when you can't even do that, you know. Don't worry, mate. Don't worry, though, mate. When you die, no one's going to pretend to be you in a fucking... Because there's fucking millions of you, mate. Anyway. I'll see y'all later. I'm going to go now. Take care.